and welcome to Kick the Cool, the giant sea of the coolest podcast. You finally found the one that kicks the cool straight to the curb.
Yeah.
And I am here having a great time with you. I'm the littlest little brother, Wopsle.
I'm America's big sister, Shishi.
And I am the biggest little brother, Tone.
That's right. And I hope that you are all strapped in to hear these reviews that you didn't know you needed. Hey guys, right off the top, I need to talk about napkins.
Napkins.
I got to get this off my chest about napkins.
Did they do something to you?
Here's what napkins are.
Hold on. I have to interrupt real quick because you told the audience to strap in. Now, I do have a seatbelt on my office chair. Do I need to buckle up?
I thought we were all strapped in before we hit record.
Oh my goodness!
Tone,
I forgot
been flying?
Wow.
I was strapped in. I don't know where you were when we talked about it.
It is a good thing we caught it right now.
Wow! I almost died. That was a close one.
Holy cow!
Click, click.
Yeah, I assumed we were all strapped.
Strapped
Right.
up.
And now
strapped.
the listener also needs to strap.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I'm buckled in. So what I really want to talk about right now, this might surprise you, is napkins.
Well, now that you're strapped in, we can go into the napkin discussion because here's the deal. Napkins in your fast food sack are sort of like tissue paper in a gift sack.
Okay.
Like without the tissue paper, you're still going to have the gift, but like you just kind of feel flat about it, right?
Mm.
The same thing is true with your fast food sack. Without the napkin in there, it just feels like you're missing something.
Well, yeah, you are missing something. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Lick my fingers? Oh, I'm going to do that anyway. You know.
Right.
Well,
but then how are you going to wipe the saliva off of your fingers? That's what you need the napkin for.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Now, Wopsle, I thought you were comparing the usefulness of the tissue paper in the gift bag to the usefulness of the napkins in the fast food sack. And I was going to totally disagree with that because I'm upset if I don't have some napkins.
You're in a world of hurt.
And there are some fast food joints that don't give you a napkin unless you ask for it.
Got to have
Well,
napkins.
I'll tell you why I got this on my mind, and then we can move on from it. But so as a youth pastor, a youth pastor that can't have any programming, it's like, what am I supposed to do? And so I've basically turned into like Uber Eats. I just show up to people's doorstep with food now. That's
Nice.
like my full-time job is just go to high schoolers' houses and give them something. And so today,
That's
a pretty good job.
wonderful.
Well, you get to be the hero. I'm the hero like 20 times a day. It's really pretty cool. And so today I showed up to this kid's house with a bag of Chick-fil-A and I handed it to him. And of course he looked in it and we looked at it together and there wasn't any napkins in it, which wasn't my bad, but like it really did feel like handing someone a gift bag, but without any tissue paper. And they just look in it and they're just like, yeah, like it's still the same gift, but it feels kind of weird. And then he kind of looked at me and we were both just like, yeah, this is really, this just kind of like leaves a stank on this whole transaction that we had.
I wish that you had told me, you should have just called me and said, we need napkins because I have so many in my glove box. It's all napkins.
Oh, yeah.
It's
yeah.
napkins,
Well, so
my
that's the deal.
insurance, and my knife of protection, and napkins. That's it.
Uh-huh.
Now, would you be freaked if someone dropped by and gave you, your Taco Bueno, and then you got to looking at the napkins and saw that they were Sonic napkins? What kind of conclusions would you draw about that drop off
Huh.
if that were happen to you?
I don't think I would eat the food. I can tell you that much.
I would wonder what Wopsle was doing to my food. Like, yeah.
Because you wouldn't know if that switcheroo happened in the car or at the restaurant, but either way, something's amiss, right?
Right.
I think I'd probably say, hey, Wopsle, did you put these napkins in here? And you'd say yes. And I would say thank you. And I would scarf it.
For me, the more stuff that is in that bag, the happier I am.
Yeah.
The more like if you got napkins, little salt, some pepper, mint, you got that. I am getting happier every time I see a new little thing in there.
I think.
Now, I don't use hardly any of them.
Right.
But I'm happy they're there.
Even like the sauce packets,
Oh, yeah.
barbecue sauce. I don't know if I'm going to use it, but I still feel better about it being in there.
So not only do you need the napkins in there, but if they're going to give you napkins or sauce packets or salt or whatever, you need more than enough. You don't need just enough. That seems stingy.
That's right.
You need more than enough. You need to make it feel like you're not going to run out and be left empty-handed and disappointed. You need that security blanket of too much.
Right. Mm-hmm. Too much. Yeah. You're exactly right.
Is it just because we're American?
Right. Well, I think so. Yeah, that's a very
first world problem.
That's a very American statement, the way that was put. Yeah. Well, to finish this off with insult to injury, they obviously forgot a handful that was all of the extra things because there also wasn't any sauces and there wasn't a straw. So I also showed up to this kid's house with a drink without a straw and just a bag with some loose waffle fries and some nuggets. And it was just
here. So, drink this like a caveman.
So, yeah. Right.
You mean I have
so that's at least one kid looking for a new church in the Tulsa area.
Right.
I think he's okay. I'm sure he went to the kitchen and extracted a glass and poured his cup into it if you needed it that bad.
No, you're giving high schoolers way too much credit for that shit. That did not happen. No. I think he might have poked the hole open on the bottom with his thumb and shotgunned it.
Right.
Before I even got out of his driveway.
Please, I hope that's what happened. He mainlined some caffeine with his coat.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, that was helpful for me to get that off my chest. Well, let's try to get to helping these listeners now that they're strapped in sufficiently and give them some reviews that are really going to help them in their day-to-day lives. So this week, Shishi, you were up first. What do you got for us to review today?
Well, I think I need to review tattoos today.
I think that's appropriate.
I don't have one. Do you guys have tattoos?
Wopsle does.
I have one.
Did I know about this?
Do you have one?
I have none.
Wait, we're about to review tattoos, and between the three of us, we have one tattoo.
Well, I have seen tattoos.
Oh. Well, that makes you an expert.
Okay.
Well,
that's actually the appropriate level for this podcast, the appropriate level of knowledge.
I am both pleased and disappointed that we have one person with experience because I would think it's really funny if none of us had a tattoo, but I also want to get your take on that end of it because all I know is the visual part of looking at a tattoo.
Yeah.
Well, Tone, what do you think about them in general? Do you think they're cool? Do you think they're gross? What do you think?
Well, they're cool. They're definitely cool, in my opinion. And when I see someone with tattoos, they automatically become more attractive to me. I don't know why, but it's just, that's the way it is. So I've always wanted many tattoos. You know, when I had the money and I was like, ooh, I want to get a tattoo with this money. I can't. And it's because it's permanent and I don't want to screw up. And I get so scared that if I'm like, you know, today I think that a headshot of a tiger is going to be the most beautiful tattoo I could possibly get. I'm going to change my mind a year from now. And guess what? You don't get to change your mind. And I'm uncomfortable. I'm scared of that level of commitment. So, yeah.
I feel the same way.
Yeah, it's big. Tone, do you have the tattoo that you were nearest to getting? Do you remember the time when you were closest to getting a tattoo and what that tattoo was?
Yes. I was in a very rundown apartment. There were a bunch of people sitting around, and one person who was not sober held up a Bic pen that would normally have a black piece of plastic on each end. The pieces of plastic were removed, and the shaft, the white shaft, was now his tattoo rod. He took a needle and attached it with a motor, attached it to that shaft. And
this is the closest you got within this setting?
Yes.
Okay. All right, boy, howdy.
Right? Yeah, it wasn't in like the fancy tattoo parlor over on 23rd Street, a combo platter where they were also going to pierce my nose. No, it wasn't anything like that. It was the scariest situation possible. And so this guy was like, hey man, I'm giving tattoos for free tonight. And he was working on he was working on a cross on this girl when he said it. And this makes it even worse that I was actually so close to getting one because the cross looked like total. Oh my! It was terrible. Like the lines were not straight, and he was trying to be straight. So then he told me I should get an 8-ball on my arm.
Okay.
And I almost did.
Did you play pool a lot back then?
No, I've never played pool very well or very much. But he thought it was a good idea, and boy, I was like, I think you're right. That's yeah.
You know what? Yeah.
Sold. You sold me. What's funny is the next morning I wake up at the same party house, and a girl has an 8-ball tattooed on her hand.
Oh no! Oh my god!
And it looks like a misshapen black egg with a little spot in the middle that you can't tell what it is.
Oh my gosh! Well, you dodged a bullet there, didn't you?
So close.
You dodged the 8-ball right there.
Ooh, and I'm so glad I was strapped in to tell that story because I would have been in trouble.
If someone came up to me and told me that they spent $2,000 on a little bitty tattoo, I would judge them the second most compared to the person that said I spent $0 and the guy gave me a free tattoo.
Right.
That would be the most judging.
Yeah.
Well, what about the people that get advertisements as tattoos? Like,
Oh, wow.
Well, speaking of that, let me tell you about my tattoo,
Yeah, please.
Oh
no, now I'm worried.
I've always loved tattoos. Again, like they're cool. I don't know if tattoos are attractive, or do tattoos say something about the people that are willing to get them that makes those people more attractive? But I totally agree with you, Tone. Like tattoos are just hot, and that's all there is to it.
Yep.
But I wanted to make sure it was important. So I got married, still didn't have a reason to get a tattoo. I had a kid, still not a reason to get a tattoo. And then there's a pizza place in Oklahoma City called the Empire Slice House. And they said, if you get a tattoo with our pizza place on you, you get half off of your pizza for life. And within an hour, I had that tattoo on my body of their announcement.
Way.
Yes.
Yes. I love this story.
So
wow.
When it started, the kind of rules were it had to be a permanent tattoo, it had to have a slice of pizza, and it had to have Empire on it. Those were the only rules.
Oh.
So mine is, I wanted it, like my first tattoo, I wanted it to be like very like Americana, like a tattoo man's tattoo.
Yeah.
So it's a big epic eagle flying, and he's got this, he's got a pepperoni pizza in his talons, and then the pizza has a big ribbon wrapped around it that it says Empire on it.
Wow.
And so,
can we get a picture of that?
That is my only tattoo. Yeah. We'll post that definitely this week. And so that is and so not too long after I got that, then I moved to Tulsa. So I'm about 90 miles away from this place that I get half off at. But yeah, so that's my only tattoo. I get half off this place.
Hey, if it's a good tattoo, go for it. Yeah. But I wouldn't want to get like the Taco Bell logo on my forearm.
Right. Ultimately, it is a fast food restaurant that I have tattooed on my arm, but at least it is like a cool one that's in the Plaza District in Oklahoma City.
Yeah,
so,
that is cool. That makes it more legitimate.
It is a little bit more legitimate, but if you really want to boil it down, it's just an eating establishment.
Well, I agree with both of you guys. I love tattoos. Now, there is like a tipping point. You can have several tattoos and that makes you more attractive. But for me, if you get too many, then it becomes unattractive. So I'm like, I like one on, and mostly on guys too. I hate to be sexist about it, but I do like tattoos more on guys, except that there is a girl that works at my college. She has the most beautiful tattoos and I just would love to emulate her in that, but I don't have the guts. So there's a lot worse reasons to get a tattoo, I think, than a pizza place giving you half off. Basically, they paid you to get it, right? So, I mean, you're coming out ahead.
Yes.
But I've never really been close.
Fiscally, it's on the responsible side of tattoos. Mine.
Yes.
Yeah, but so is the freebie. Fiscally, if we're just like right. So
I think you would have been paying for that for a long time, though, in other ways.
No.
So
right. Shisha, you seem to be very cool with Wopsle's tattoo, and I'm like, dude, that is the second most irresponsible tattoo after mine. After my almost tattoo, like That's the worst idea of when to get a tattoo.
It is pretty bad, but
I'm looking forward to the time when Jovi gets old enough to say, "Boy, Dad, you must really love that pizza." And I can say, "Yeah, I do." And she can say, "Where's your tattoo of me?"
mm-hmm. I was just going to make that
Sorry,
point.
girl. Sorry about you. You are a close
You
second.
need to say, "Are you going to buy me free pizza? Because
That's what I was about to
you're going to give me
say.
free pizza, then I'll get your tattoo."
Yeah, what's your offer?
Until
So
then,
I've got real estate, girl.
make it worth my while. That's all I'm saying.
Wopsle, I want you to keep this response locked in the chamber and ready to fire. That when your daughter says to you, "Why don't you have a tattoo of me?" Your response has to be, "Got any pizza?"
Okay. I will respond with that, and I will return to the podcast and let you guys know how it goes.
Awesome.
Well, I think that tattoos are pretty cool. I think that the best part, like my favorite stories about tattoos are when they are like covering up a scar, or, like breast cancer survivors often get tattoos for various reasons.
Mhm.
I had a joke that I told a lot when I was younger, that if I ever got a tattoo, I would just work this in whenever I could. That if I ever got a tattoo, I was going to get a tattoo of my face, actual size, on my face.
I think you should get a tattoo of Garth Brooks on your face. Actual size.
Actual size, Garth Brooks' face.
It would look exactly the same. You can just tell everyone. You're going to tattoo a soul patch on your face. Oh my gosh. And bangs. A soul patch and bangs. No hair.
That's what you're saying with Tony. You might have to do some more, because if it's just bangs, it's going to be bald head and tattooed bangs.
I never thought about getting hair tattooed on my head, so I won't be bald anymore.
There you
Great
go.
idea.
I think they can do that. You should get a friar hairdo tattooed on your head. That'd be cool.
Oh,
The
Because
priest
if you're
guy.
going to get it, because if you're going to get a hair tattoo, get the worst possible haircut.
Right.
Just really get an
Right.
embarrassing one.
I mean, they're supposed to be funny, right? Tattoos are for fun.
Hey, let me jump in real quick and throw something out there to our audience. We were just talking about Garth Brooks, and that's a review we did last episode, on episode 18. We did a review of Garth Brooks. Two things I need to mention. One, we actually, I'm gonna put it all on me. I spelled Garth's first name wrong. It is not Troyle. It is actually Troyal. My bad.
Yeah.
Our cousin Joe brought that up to me and told me I was stupid. So
Well, so I guess we have talked about tattoos about all we can. So let's get some ratings on this bad boy. Tone.
yes,
What do you rate tattoos?
I rate tattoos multiple. I'm gonna go with 3. The plane, boss, the plane.
Stop the presses.
That is
We're
tattoos
done.
from Fantasy Island.
We're freaking
the
done.
TV show. We're over.
I'm just.
The plane.
I was going to wait till we're done recording and mention, I can't believe no one brought up the plane in the middle of the tattoo. But
Oh my gosh.
But Tone, you did not disappoint.
You
We
did
could
not
not make it through
disappoint.
without someone bringing it up.
All right, Wopsle, try to beat that.
Well, I don't know that I can, but for me, tattoos mean one thing: half off. I rate tattoos half off.
Let's.
Every time I see someone else's tattoo, I say, "What's that get you half off of?"
Skulls and crossbones.
I see you get half off at the kiosk in the mall. Well done, man.
American flags. I get half off on all of them.
Okay, so I'm going to have to rate tattoos an 8 ball. but not a squished up bad 8-ball like Tony almost got. A really good 8-ball.
All right. Well, I know there's so many people coming into this podcast on the fence about tattoos. Hopefully we have helped them understand.
Oh, yeah.
We have reviewed them and they know the criteria they need to follow.
Yep.
To get their own tattoo. So, Tony, what do you have to review that will be as helpful or maybe more helpful than tattoos was?
Well, I think this is going to be really helpful. And the main thing is I think that our listeners want to be able to, know who we are and really be able to connect with us. We make a lot of references to the thing I'm going to review today, our hometown. So today we are reviewing Preg, Oklahoma. I'm going to call this, actually, in anticipation of what's going to happen, Preg, Oklahoma, Part 1. That's what we're reviewing today.
Wow.
Yes, okay.
I agree with that. Part 1. A good call.
Wopsle, what do you think about Preg, Oklahoma?
Man, Preg, anyone that spends time around me hears me talk about Preg quite a bit. I kind of love Preg a lot. I brag. I don't think it's a brag, but I brag that I was somewhere in the last 10 babies that were actually born in Preg at the hospital there. And then pretty quickly after me, they said, we're not very good at this. So they started shipping babies off to Shawnee. But I was actually born in Preg. Dr. Wiseman, who we all grew up knowing, delivered me right there in Preg. And I kind of love it. And I kind of say a lot of times, like, to me, Preg raised me. Like the teachers and the people and the librarians and Preg as a city, is a member of our family. Yeah. I feel like.
Yeah, it really is.
So I love Preg, and every time I go back, I just drive around and just tell Amy the same dumb stories over and over and over. So Preg was always really good to me.
Lament how things have changed and why they tear that down and why did they paint that color? Yeah.
Shishi, what do you think about it?
It is a huge part of our family. I just have such good memories of when I moved there at age 11, after having been away for a while. I was able to just walk around town and I just knew every nook and cranny.
Right.
I just loved the town itself.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing that made me realize that this was part 1 is because I made a list of a lot of topics that which I don't usually do, but on this one, I was like, I just wanted to make sure not forget something. And I'm just going to run through it real quick and let you guys see what I'm talking about. Kolache Festival, Kolache Carnival, Preg Historical Museum, Jim Thorpe Boulevard, National Shrine of the Infant Jesus, the Arcade, Davenport's, Ken's Pizza, Sonic, Preg High School, Preg Pool, Preg Park. That's just a quick rundown. Which of those things grabbed your attention the most?
For me, the thing that I'm asked about the most when people hear I'm from Preg, of course, is the Shrine of the Infant Baby Jesus.
Right.
But the thing that I found myself missing more often in my life has been easily, out of all those things you just mentioned, Ken's Pizza.
Right.
Preg, Ken's Pizza. We've got a theme going. Apparently, I'm just kind of gaga for pizza. But the Ken's Pizza in Preg.
Did you get a Ken's tattoo?
Yeah, I need to. I got a whole bicep right here waiting for it.
You could do that. I mean, that's a good nostalgia thing for you. That would make sense.
So that's for me. Ken's Pizza. There's something because not only is Ken's Pizza have pretty good pizza, but and Tony, I know you can especially get into this. Remember Ken's after a band concert?
Oh boy!
There's not a better hour in your year.
That's
than
right.
The hour at Ken's after a band concert.
That's right.
So that's part of why Ken's is so great too. I think.
There was a guy in our high school band. He was the drum major, and he was a brilliant guy and very good at everything he tried. His name was Brian Bergman. And Brian so Brian's like 7'8", something like that. And has the ability I didn't know about until one day. I'm sitting there in one of the booths, the round booths with Brian Bergman. Now the round booths are in the four corners of the restaurant. So they're very far away from each other. Brian Bergman said, "Hey, I want to gleek on Billy." So I waited for him to get up out of his chair and go over to gleek on Billy.
Can we say what gleeking is for those who don't know?
It's actually lifting your tongue and activating your salivary glands under your tongue to spit
And you squirt it out.
You squirt it out. That's called a gleek. In our world, it was.
We should explain things in less detail because I'm crawling right now. When you explain it really granularly,
Yes.
you just realize like what's actually involved in it. And you just kind of like, oh, wow.
What? So,
Yikes.
So Brian Bergman said, I'm going to gleek on Billy. And he did not get up from his chair. He lifts his tongue up and shoots saliva out from his mouth all the way from one corner of the restaurant to the other corner. Bullseye, hits Billy in the face. He then proceeded to do that every single time we all went to Ken's on a band trip.
Oh my God.
The whole experience, it was fun. We were all talking. You're with all your best friends. You're after the concert. You got a concert high. You're all having fun. And everyone has menus up in front of their faces and ducking under hats and holding up umbrellas. And
Because it's a Gleek war.
it's a Gleek war.
That is so unsanitary.
It's so gross, dude.
Oh my gosh. I worked at Ken's Pizza for 3 weeks
Nice.
and it
Oh,
felt
wow.
like a
Good job.
year. Yeah. It was, they wanted me to be the manager after week 1. That's how desperate they were. I was the only adult there, basically.
When I tried to get a job at Ken's, someone that worked there jokingly made a joke about how I was really good at smashing up the captain's wafers in the package because I had done that while I was kind of nervously filling out this application. And so they talked about how good I did. And they were like, hey, if that gets you the job, like you're a shoo-in because you did that better than anyone.
Oh my
Y'all, I literally, this is not a lie. I stapled that packet to my application and handed it to the people in charge.
And you didn't get the
They
job?
did not hire you.
I didn't even get a call back or nothing.
Oh my God. That is amazing.
Turns out that
man.
they weren't looking for someone.
They have
were looking
no
for people who were good
imagination at
smashers.
all.
No.
The one thing that what that screams is I don't have a family or responsibilities because obviously,
Yeah.
obviously I'm not really trying that hard to get this job.
Right.
Or maybe I'm trying too hard. It's one of the two.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I was just going to mention the thing that struck me when you gave your list, and that was the Davenport's store.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but that was part of our family because
Yeah.
our grandma Stosta owned that store before it was Davenport's, and it was the something five and
What was
dime.
that?
And every time I used to just go in and take stuff from the pawn shop, they'd be like, hey, you can't. I'd be like, oh, it's cool. My family used to own this.
Yeah, used to
That
own
didn't
this.
fly. Yeah, they didn't. That didn't fly.
You show them your pawn shop tattoo.
I showed them my Status 5 and dime. And they were like, sorry, not anymore.
That's expired, bro.
Right.
Well, the biggest thing probably, of course, it was founded by a Czechoslovakian person. So the Czechoslovakian heritage is celebrated once a year on the first Saturday in May with a thing called the Kolachi Festival. And I think that is probably the most important thing we could mention about Preg. So for me, the Kolachi Festival, the most amazing thing was it's a town of like 2,000 to 2,500 people total. And I would go to sleep in my house, which was is on, close to the outskirts of the town. And I would go to sleep and all the world was pretty normal. The carnival actually came in early, a couple of days early, so you could go to the carnival. But, the Kolachi Festival started Saturday morning. And so I would go to sleep Friday night and everything would be normal. I would wake up Saturday morning, walk out the door, and there is a parking lot everywhere you look. Cars are parked,
In your front yard. Yeah, your front yard
yeah.
is now a parking lot.
Yeah, and we were on the
Yeah.
outskirts of the town, and it's still there's that many people. So I think I actually don't remember the numbers, but it was a town of 2,000 people turned into like 50,000 people chilling in your little town now. It's the craziest thing ever.
And the street dance at night was always my favorite when I was a kid because we were just allowed to run crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're in a small town back then, I don't know how it is now, but back then when you were in a small town, you just got to go wherever you wanted. You knew everybody and everybody knew whose kid you were. And that's a good thing and a bad thing. It's not like we couldn't get up to trouble, though. I mean, I got into plenty of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Don't listen to this, Mom. I'm kidding. Nothing bad happened.
All you kids out there.
But, you know, all that freedom.
Yeah. Whenever anybody in life does a chicken dance, because, you know, it's a fun thing that they did at summer camp that one time or something, I just laugh. I'm like, you don't know chicken dance.
Even know.
Until you've participated or watched it at the Kolache Festival, you don't know what you're talking about.
We still do the street dance every year. Amy and I go to the street dance at Kolache every year.
So fun.
Because it's like that's the small town America. They block off Main Street, throw down sawdust, and play music and dance all night, and shoot fireworks usually too. Like that's just it. It's so fun.
It really is. Yeah, it's very American. You're right, and it's funny that it's very American, and it's a Czechoslovakian celebration.
It's really a melding of those things.
Yeah,
one of the things, of course, is that like I said, with the Kolache Festival, the carnival comes into town. Now, this is a big deal, especially when you're a young kid. The carnival is it. It's where it's at. So I was never a rider. I was never a ride guy, but I would occasionally ride a ride. And I never felt safe. Did you guys ever feel safe riding those rides?
No, because you see them roll into town on Wednesday, and then you're flipping around 60 foot in the air on Thursday.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
You know what? I don't know if I was just stupid or what, but I felt perfectly safe.
Really? Now I'm like 11 years old. I'm looking at all the underneath, the underpinnings of the tilt-a-whirl. And I'm like, oh, that all looks just dirty. And
I wrote it all, but I was scared, but not so scared that I didn't ride everything. But
both of you were totally justified in not being scared, because I got to bring this up. Do you remember any story that you ever heard of anyone getting hurt on those rides?
No, I even think
not at the Kolache Festival.
I think long after we've left Preg, we would have heard about it because we still have friends there. So I don't think nobody's getting hurt. Now, lots of people have lost their lunch. There's been some throwing up happening at the Kolache Festival to no end.
Lunches lost. Kolache Festival's winning.
Right.
And lunches lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Wopsle, what do you rate our hometown, Preg, Oklahoma, Part 1?
Well, given the topics we've talked about today, I really think I'm going to have to rate it the corner to corner Gleek. It's really good. It's really impressive. It's really inspiring. At times, it's a little gross. That's the corner to corner Gleek in my world.
At times. Sherry, Shishi, what do you rate Preg, Oklahoma, Part 1?
In honor of our great grandmother, Trussie Stosta, owner of the Stosta's Five and Dime, or whatever it was called, I am going to rate it Dajmi Hubichka, which means give me a kiss in Czech.
Oh, that's awesome.
Pupek.
Oh, Pupek. Grandma.
His belly button in Czech.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. All right, guys. So I am going to rate Preg, Oklahoma, our hometown, Part 1. I'm going to rate it 462 lunches lost in the best way possible.
I have to applaud for that one.
All right. Well, listen, I hope some people from Preg are listening, and I hope they're loving Preg as much as we are. And I will make for sure that Bergman listens to this episode.
Right.
Since he's mentioned, he needs to know that he was honored and remembered in such a positive light. Well, to wrap things off with the most helpful reviews possible, 19 episodes in, and I can't believe we haven't covered this yet because it's what the people want and they're screaming about. We got to review today to finish off road construction because we're all dealing with it. So it's time we get down to the bottom of it and let people know how to feel about road construction. So Shishi, what do you think? What are your initial thoughts on road construction?
A necessary evil. But why in heaven's name does it have to go on forever? That's my initial thing. Like it's just always there.
Right.
Always there.
Is that an Oklahoma thing or is that just a human race thing? Like, is
No,
that
it is an
unique to our
Oklahoma
situation? That's kind of what I thought.
I think it's an Oklahoma thing, which is really bad because our roads suck. And they're always working on them, and then they suck after they get done working on them. So what is wrong with us?
I actually heard someone talk about the fact that we lowball the get the lowest possible bid, and we end up with the lowest possible product. So our quality is always bad because we don't want to pay for the roads, but we end up constantly refixing them anyway. So it
costs us more.
Yeah, it ends up costing us more.
It's a real free tattoo situation that we found ourselves in the road construction game.
Yes.
Lowest bidder is not always the best.
My mind is blown. That's a squished 8-ball situation.
Oh, it's a skimping situation, isn't it?
Yes, I think so.
To throw it way back,
Tone, that's a good insight. What else do you think about road construction?
I'm scared of road construction quite often because I think we've talked about this before on this podcast, but the two scariest moments to me in driving, number one, is when I am surrounded by semi-trucks and I have a wall of concrete barriers zooming by right beside me, and the lane, because it's construction time, the lane is about half as big. Okay, that's really bad. Number two is when they have made the road, but they've cut it off very sharply right at the edge of the lane. And so there's a drop off of at least like a foot down to some dirt. And one little maneuver, one little twitch wrong, and you are in the world of hurt.
I have to piggyback on that. And just something that I've noticed is a lot of times they will say, there will be a sign that says no guardrail. Yeah. So like if you're careening out of control, don't careen right there because there's no guardrail. Careen somewhere else.
I love it. Why are you telling me there's no guardrail there? What possibly am I going to do with that information?
Well, where am I supposed to careen now? Like I was totally looking forward to that guardrail.
And now if you're using the guardrail in your driving at all, you're not doing it right. So you don't need to know that guardrail's not there. It's not like bumpers on a bowling alley or something.
Oh, we're out of control. We're out of control. Oh, hold on.
Wait.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, sometimes you can have signs that say no guardrails. They can say like uneven lanes, the shoulder's a chasm. There's all these different signs. And sometimes it's like you should have put up a sign that says road closed. Like we should just not be allowed on this. I want to get to where I'm going, but like at what cost?
I think they probably need to just airlift us over the road construction, right? We just need an airlifting.
Just construct the best ramp you can. And put the speed limit sign at 90.
Speed limit is you have to be going minimum this speed or you're going to die. But if you're going 90, you'll make it.
Because there's no guardrail in the air.
And when you land, what's great is after you jump the ramp, you fly over the bad stuff. And when you land, your car is going to completely fly apart. And then in the next shot, it'll be fine.
Well, see, I was thinking about you. You were talking about kind of an air ferry. Because like that's what they do with water. They don't just say like good luck getting to the other side. No, you get to get on a boat and it takes you to the other side.
Exactly.
We need an air ferry instead of just saying, hey, good luck. We hope half of you make it. Like, no, let's help you by airlifting you across the construction. Well, I think I'm with you, Tone. I totally I can't believe when there's that big drop off right beside where you're driving. I always drive it. I'm like, how is this not just littered with overturned cars? How is there not just dozens of them? I don't understand how anybody's making it out of here alive. But I think for me, the reason that I was thinking about this is because recently I was sent on a detour due to road construction. And I get so nervous about a detour. Now, I don't feel unsafe on a detour, but the feeling of, did I miss a sign that told me when to turn right? And like, I'm looking at how far should I go before, how much should I second guess myself?
Well, here's the thing, Wopsle. Like you, the reason you feel that way is because a stupidly high percentage of the times that you've taken a detour, it didn't work out. Right? How many times have I taken a detour and then me and 10 other cars are all winding through these streets, turning left and right, and we're all looking at each other like, we don't know. I don't know. Where do we go?
Yeah, heaven forbid you be the first one in the line, and so everyone's following you. And then when you do turn around in the cul-de-sac and you're passing people, they're looking at you so angry, and you're like, what? Listen, I'm in this with you guys.
So much pressure.
Yeah. Every single
somebody else want to go first? Go for it.
Every single car you pass, the driver has their hands up like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
So you just pull into a driveway like it's yours and just like wait for them to pass and hopefully get invited into dinner. Like there's nothing else you can do. You just live there now. Yeah, road construction, there's a lot of room for error.
Has anyone ever stole a construction thing?
No.
Yes. Not a detour sign. I have morals, so no detour sign. Okay. Yeah, I've taken some things.
What'd you take?
I think just cones is all I've ever taken, but I've taken more than a few cones. Well, because like I'd take some cones, I'd be like, these cones are cool. And then I'd see another construction zone that had like a flashing cone. And so I was like, well, that's going to look real good in my room. So I had a flashing cone in my room in high school, just keeping me up all night. It was so bad. It's so bright. It has to be, right? Because it's supposed to like just illuminate the whole road.
Now, do you guys have any examples of or thoughts on road construction in the country? Because like, for instance,
like on a dirt road?
Yeah. I mean, you got dirt road construction. You've got, when you live in the country, you end up creating roads. Mm-hmm.
Yes, you're constructing your own roads.
Right.
Out in the field.
Yeah. But so I remember one time it was 6 o'clock in the morning. Mom is going to work, going to drop me off at a friend's house where I will hang out until time for school because we live way out in the country and her work is in town. So it's 6 o'clock in the morning, very dark, very rainy. It's been raining all night. And we come along and there's there's something across the road, like a black strip across the road. And the road's very muddy. So luckily Mom stops the car in time because we pull up and stop and we're like, what is going on? We get out of the car. We both walk over in the rain in the muddy, dirty road and smush our way over to the ledge as it is. Because there is now across the dirt road, there is now a giant washout that was, I am not exaggerating. It was, I'm going to say 10 feet across, like going, if you jumped over it, it was 10 feet washed out, down probably 15 feet.
Gosh. I remember that washout so well. I could drive you straight to it right now.
Yeah. I do too.
Right, you do?
Okay, yeah, I do remember.
And now do you?
Yeah.
Because I remember
what happened?
For about 4 months, we had to drive around this longest way ever.
Yeah.
To get to anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, and then they changed it to where when they still hadn't repaired the road, but they made a road that went down into the chasm and then back up the other side. They made it out of dirt.
Somebody was like, F that S.
Yeah.
I gotta get through here. Let me dump some dirt down there.
Yeah.
That was so scary.
It was so weird. You drive down, way down into this big old gully, and then you curve around and drive up the other side. And it's like, yeah, it was an adventure, man.
I forgot about that.
So many adventures.
That's some road construction right there.
Out in the country.
Yeah, it sounds like road construction, no matter what, good or bad, it's going to be an adventure. I think that's what we've learned, right? Like, it's
that's true.
It may be an adventure that cost you your life, but an adventure nonetheless. So let's wrap up this conversation then to really kind of, try to hammer down what it is that we feel about road construction. So Shishi, what is your rating of road construction?
I'm going to rate road construction the air ferry.
Yeah, the air ferry.
Road construction gets an air ferry from me.
Just one, huh? Just one air ferry?
Just one. Sure. You only need one if it's good.
That's
I
right.
like that, yeah. Don't skimp and get the crappy one that you're going to need 20 of them and keep repairing them. Just get one really good one. Yeah, I like that sheet.
One really good air ferry.
All right, Tone, what do you rate road construction?
I'm going to give road construction in order to help so many people are going to get helped right now. 4 out of 10 flashing cones is what I rate road construction.
Oh, so, well, 1 was terrible. So 4 is way worse.
Right.
Then I'm sorry that it's an 8 out of 10 flashing cones. You're right. While you're trying to sleep. 8 out of 10 flashing cones while you're trying
In
to
your
sleep.
bedroom.
In
Okay.
your bedroom.
Well, that's pretty bad. Well,
That's pretty bad.
you guys remember there used to be a t-shirt that said like Oklahoma State bird and it had like someone flipping the finger and then it said like Oklahoma State like flag and it had like a construction flag like so the guy was waving.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say that my rating is Oklahoma State flag, but it's that construction flag from the t-shirt making fun of Oklahoma and their construction laws.
Right.
It's possible that is the longest rating.
That's the
we've
longest
ever
rating we've
given.
ever done.
Rarely do we have to really explain in detail what it is that we're about to say, which
Yeah, I love it when our rating involves a preface.
right.
You have to preface.
Right.
Any rating that starts out with this, hey, do you guys remember this one really random thing I need to tell you about first?
Right. Any joke or rating or anything that starts with, okay, so first off, let me lay the ground rules. Do you remember?
We've got some backstory before this rating's going to make any sense. So just hold on. Good thing you're strapped in. It's going to be a ride.
We really did need to strap in for the road construction one
Oh,
since we were
yeah.
careening a lot.
Yeah, right.
That one.
If I wouldn't have had my seatbelt on, I would have actually hit the guardrail where there was no guardrail. I would have hit the missing guardrail.
All right. Well, hey, I think that's going to do it for us this week. We hope that these reviews have helped you tremendously. And just a reminder, next week's going to be episode 20. And I think we've got some special stuff. So you're going to be wanting to look forward to that. But before we do that, what you got going on?
Well, I just want to remind everybody that we live and die by reviews.
Yes.
That is reviews that we give and reviews that you give us. And I would really like to see some stars on Apple or something just to let everybody that's coming across us know that we are awesome.
Yes.
And we would love to see, get your feedback on our podcast. So.
Also, we want to thank the band Bugs, Bugs, for being the greatest band in the world, first of all. And then number 2, for letting us use our theme song reviews from their album, Self-Help. Please go like Bugs the Band Facebook page and buy some of their music online.
All right. Well, we hope you all have had as good of a time as we have with these reviews. And we hope you'll hop in next week for more reviews that you didn't know you needed. But until next time, hey, you guys. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. Love you. Wait. Why are we saying happy birthday? Jerry, you pulled a Jedi mind trick.
I'm on board. I love it.
All right. Happy birthday, everybody. Yes, man.
Happy Mother's Day to me.
Happy Mother's Day.
Where's my
Me
present?
too. Happy Mother's Day to me. Wopsle, happy Mother's Day.
I'm just trying to lump it all together to make it make some kind of sense.
Have you heard our podcast?
Cake cool.